Hello, good day to all my fellow travel mates, photographers, and friends around the world. Welcome to Chris Lee Travel Channels. This is the third episode of my journey to Guizhou province, and is also the number 48 of my travelogues. Now, after an interesting coverage of the Mel Sister Festival in Taijiang County in my second episodes, in these episodes I'm going to share with you the countryside scenery in valley surrounded by Mel ethnic minority groups, and also not far away from the most popular Xijiang Mel village. So if you want a comprehensive understanding of the Mel and Dong ethnic minority, please follow through all the 11 episodes in this series, the Guizhou China, that I'm going to present to you. Now, to begin with, let's share the locations, right, and the whereabouts of the places I'm going to share with you today. Now, for those who missed the earlier episodes of Guizhou, let me share with you the location of Guizhou province in China. Now, Guizhou province is a landlocked province located in southern China in the location marked red in this map. Now, it is a mountainous province with most of the lands on high plateaus, sharp mountain peaks, valleys, and dense river networks, as can be seen from these topographic maps of Guizhou. Now, the provincial capital of Guizhou is Guiyang, which is located at the center of the province as shown in this map. And my trekking trail falls between the Leishan County, about 12 km away from the Xijiang Mao village, which is also my ending destination of the trekking journey. So the map shows the county that we are in, and Leishan County is one of the county in the Qingdongnan, Miao, and Dong autonomous prefectures, and in Guizhou province. Now, this is a half-day trekking journey on a countryside from Malau Silver Midge village, or in Chinese called Malau Yinjiang Chun, to Xijiang Mao village, right? And it is a very scenic trail. I'm passing by many villages' dwellings, gentle rolling terrains, beautiful valleys, and enchanting terrace farmlands. So, although I didn't complete the whole trail, right, till the Xijiang Mao village, but the journey was still a very, very fruitful one. This will be able to judge, right, from the quantity of the image captured and shared in these travelogues. Now, along the trail, right, there are many small hills to climb and valley to cross. But this doesn't deter me and my travel mates from moving on. So this is the start of our trekking journey from this village. You can see that typically most of the buildings in the villages are constructed of wood or timber. And of course, from the look at these dwellings in this Mel village, it's relatively new, and the roof is constructed of modern roof tiles. basically the clay tile. And we passes through some very narrow passage in this village before we out from the village to the countryside proper. So you can see that basically we are trekking in the mountainous regions, and you can notice actually most of the farmland are terraced farmland. And the building was constructed in such a manner that actually you notice that the only one side is landed on the ground, while the other side is actually overhang and cantilever, supported by long timbers support or poles. Of course, along the trail, we pass through and walk across many of these tourist farmland. Because our visit is during the mid spring, so you expect to see a lot of flower blossoms. And for photographers and nature lovers, now this trekking trail offer you plenty of surprises. If you are observant enough and with the right compositions, I believe you can able to capture many stunning images of the nature. And we did came across some of the terrace farmland are farmed with the so-called rapeseed plants, which intention to harvest the rapeseed oils. And in these instances, in this image, showing that actually the rapeseed flower is blossom and is in white color. This is a very common scene along the way. We see a lot of wildflower blossom. And this is a trekking trail that we walk past. The arrow at the far end showing that a beautiful rapeseed farm. When we landed there, everybody was very excited because it's one of the most beautiful rapeseed farm that we came across during the entire trail. Everybody find their best spot to capture images of their preferred. And this also include my wife. In certain section of the terrace farmland, they just started the planting because it's the beginning of spring. This is just to share with you of the condition of the trekking trails that we encounter. Uphills, downhills, steps. All the steps are built. Some of the steps are built of stone. Many valley we cross, many mountain we cross. Indeed, actually, about 4 hours, full 4 hour trekkings for some of us which are not used to exercise daily, it could be a challenge. And in this image, my wife forced to sit on the ground. She needs some rest. So you can see that as the spring just begun, and therefore we realize actually a certain section of the village that we passed through and the valley uh, that we have gone through, the so-called the farmland, the terrace farmland, have been farmed. Now the seed have been sown. We passes by many male villages. Of course, it's just along the way, but we did not have the time to go inside to visit them because we need to reach our destinations by noon time. Anyway, the trails sceneries was very beautiful, particularly for photographer and nature lover. You will like this trekking trail. Now, as I mentioned in my first episode, Guizhou province is during the summer is actually warm and wet. So therefore, you can see that the most of the terrace farmlands uh, that begin to start farming, and they were actually ponded, with water. And some of these terrace farmland, you see the red colors uh, on the top algae that floating on the surface of the waters, and these algae actually been used to feed the ducks and all, and also it's been used as a mean of fertilizer. When they drain off the waters, then they'll mix this algae into the soil, and therefore this algae become the fertilizers. And you also realize that some of the dwellings are fairly old. And later I'll share with you the unique feature of these traditional male dwellings, of how it's constructed and the key feature. These are the valleys, one of the few beautiful valley. All the bottom of the valley have been turned into farmlands. And this is one of the village that we have passed through. You can see the wooden building structures. And as I mentioned earlier, for photographer and nature lover, this is a perfect spot for taking natural landscape as well as abstracts of the nature. Now, with the right compositions, actually you should be able to capture many stunning images. Of course, you have to be observant enough while you track. From this image onward and subsequent images are some of my favorite images captured during the trekking journey. Hope you will like them. And now we come to a section where we talk about the traditional male dwellings. Now, it's important to have some idea of the unique feature of this traditional male dwelling. Now, the traditional dwellings in Mel Village are many steel building that is with one side rests on a solid ground, the slope, mostly slope of the hill, and the other three sides are suspended right away from the ground and supported by wooden pillar. Now, these buildings are completely built of wood. The roof are mostly moss covers tree bark. This is for the very old buildings. I was told that some of these buildings here were constructed right without the use of even a single piece of metal nails or screw. So I will share with you more images and to tell you how they join the timber together. So this is one of the quite building, quite look quite old. The suspended section of the building, right below the buildings, actually they also utilize as a storage space. Now in this photo, we show that how these main timber members, the so-called the columns or pillars and the beams, the horizontal members are being joined together using wooden pin. So this is even clear. The insert there will give you a clearer view of how they join this timber member together, the horizontal and vertical member together. And they rely the use of stone to build up the retaining wall, a retaining wall. Now this is basically the tree barks that have been used as a roof covering, and you will find any of these buildings that the roof constructed of this nature is shown that this is one of the old building which can easily be 40-50 years of age. Well, for the much modern recent buildings, they were constructed using this kind of clay roof tile. And happened in this image, I spotted right at the center of the ridge of this building roof. They have a very, very unique feature, a symbol, been set up, as shown in this image. And while passing through quite a number of these village dwellings, this is one of the very common scene. They can find the corn, the sweet corn, being dry and hang and dry at in the open air, right, and right above their balcony. And of course, during the trekkings, we also met many villagers, right? And they were either going to or just on the way back from their farmlands, men and women, right? And as we passing through, they all greet us, right, with charming and friendly smile. They allow us to take a picture with them. And another thing here, the farming still very much done manually, as this is as restricted by the topography. Now in this image, you can see that there's one gentleman is doing the farming, right? And then there also the two ladies. Because it's a hilly region, so with this terrace farmland, the choice of using mechanical means of farming is much restricted. So this come to the end of today's episodes, and I would like to thank you for staying until this hour with me. If you like my travels logs, right, please subscribe, alright, share and give me a thumb up. This is important to me. Now, lastly, in the coming episode next week, I will share with you a very popular tourist destination in Guizhou. That is Xijiang Miao Village, also popularly known as the Xijiang Thousand Household Miao Village to many. And also with many images of their cultural song and dance performance. Please stay tuned and stay safe, and see you next week, right, for this fourth episode of my travelogue to Guizhou, and thanks you for all the support. Bye.